I was like,
wait, what?
yeah, then you got because the way meal plans work there is it's not like swipes, it's dollars. So if you pay like $500, they'll like double it, and then in their process of doubling it, you only end up with $750. So that's the first part of the scam. The second part of the scam is that water cups are 10 cents. So you already paid 10 cents, and then they would yell at you if you filled it with soda instead of water.
That's the most painful shit.
Even though they're already making a profit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Dunkers really start charging shit too, bro. No, when he doesn't allow fucking like bottles.
Dude, that was fun. I never went back.
Like, I saw like take one cup to swipe.
Dude, this is why I told Mihai you should call Bob Barchi fat bitch to his face. He deserves it.
Pig. He's a pig.
He's gonna call him a clock sucker though because he makes his own clocks apparently.
He does?
Yeah, apparently like that's like the humanizing feature of the dictator that is Barchi.
Kind of like Hitler vegetarian.
Yeah.
Archie a clock.
Like I'll never forget when I was learning about Genghis Khan in school. They made us like very aware that he was huge into botany. So I realized they're trying to humanize like a mongrel. So now like that's
like planning.
like botany, yeah. And so like that's Bob Barchi's like humanizing qualities that he makes fucking clocks and whole things.
I mean, that Loki, that's kind of sick.
Like, yeah, but he's a bitch. So
That's more like a evil mastermind thing to do.
Word.
Like,
if he was into gardening,
Watchman.
if he was into gardening, then you'd say like, oh, that's like a nice thing. But making clocks is like,
I am master.
you're a weird old man.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, if David Dunner was into making clocks, like, I'm sure
That'd be dope as
like
shit,
CIA and like NSA would be like on that.
It's still like someone's into making clocks.
A brown engineer is making clocks, guys.
We tried that once. Like,
What was his name? Mohammed.
No, the clock kid.
I just think it was Texas clock.
He just like took a clock and then put it in a pencil bag. Bomb.
Yeah. Loki, how did you even fall for that? That's why.
Really? Yeah.
That's a publicity thing, though.
Dude, that's such a great college essay.
Obama fucking called the White House and talked to him.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The time I made a clock and met Obama.
How come when like
How
when like the white kids in my middle school called me terrorists? Obama didn't want to
Okay,
me.
so it's 9 o'clock, so I think I might as well get started. If anyone comes in here a little bit later, you know,
it's not stream.
it's fine. It's fine because I'll be able to ask questions afterwards. So actually the pizza's coming, so I think I'm gonna.
Oh,
What's up, Buster?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
let's get our girl on this.
Are you excited for anything?
Yeah, you're going tomorrow, right?
I'm not going to your showing. No, I'm going to.
Wait, what are you showing?
We're going to Endgame at 11:30 or at 11:45. Like we all bought.
Did you see my sign at the door?
No spoilers. Yeah, that's probably reasonable.
Until May 3rd.
Oh, that's not when you were watching it.
No, I'm seeing it on Sunday, but it's for everyone else.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you did like a use star time, that'd be really fun.
Oh no, I was going to. I was gonna play until Sunday when I'm seeing it. Then they were like, we agreed on Friday and it was a final. Fucking May 3rd.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a really big cultural moment, so it shouldn't be spoiled.
Yeah,
Really not. It's like what year?
Should have spoiled
Hear my
it.
fan theory though?
About what?
Rocket Raccoon's gonna become the next Captain America.
That'd be hilarious. Why?
Because
It was gonna be the
Rocket
next Captain America, and
Yeah.
America's gonna dive into Thanos' ass. So.
Which is the most American thing.
Yo, Thanos is gonna eat fucking Captain America, and Ant-Man's gonna go pull him out of his ass.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Thanos is gonna show how good he is. Like, if he's gonna eat people alive, and then everyone's gonna like equalize.
You see the
Ant-Man's gonna hide in one of their
Well, that's
assholes,
the game,
but we
it's
won't
like-
know which one.
Dude, come on, Rio, come on, Burnley.
Is that who you have? Is that who you guys are playing?
No, they have Man City have Burnley.
Yeah, we're gonna beat those old Englishmen up.
Dude, Brexit midfield, come at me. Brexit midfield, it is destined. No, actually, nothing is destined. We'll see. If Man City finished the season on 14 straight wins, they would deserve it. But come on, Burnley.
We deserve the Champions League.
Man, you started strong, but then they just.
I agree. Soccer, yeah. You know, Man United had a good first half, but after that, they fucking bricked it.
Sounds like you guys should have saved.
Does anyone want to split the orange Fonzo with me?
I do not. Sorry, buddy.
So
Because that's what they said
I guess
in the
before I
song.
speak, I'm gonna give people time to get honestly.
Isn't Fanta or Fanta German or something?
Yeah, they
Probably
made
don't know.
it.
World War II, they ran out of
Like,
grapefruit.
Fanta's oranges or some shit.
No, because in World War
Like a
II,
sheep. It was like
the
a sheep.
embargo blocked Coke, so he hired a bunch of Nazi scientists to make their own soda.
So you're
But they
drinking
didn't
one
want to
Nazi
mix it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
It's pepperoni there.
No way.
Dude,
Oh yeah, make sure you save me a slice because I want pizza.
Burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just take one and put off to the side?
Actually, yeah.
That's called
That
strats.
was
It's
a
called
gap.
free processing strats.
That's called big moves.
It's called big brain moves.
Expanded mind.png.
Uh-huh. Ronnie's starting to speak my language, I think.
I think so little. This is like for one.
Image file and type extension.
Yeah. Oh, is that a carrot?
Yeah, boy.
Okay, I never would have picked that up myself because that looks like a cake.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, I'm
Yeah,
not
those
being
are
just
people
this
time on it.
bitch full.
You
Why
should
would-
save it. You should
why
save it.
throw it out of the window?
Watch what happens to it.
Oh, dude, that would be so
That's
fucking sick.
littering.
Dude, for my 21st birthday, my friends mailed me a potato as a birthday present. And like the first thing I did was just chuck it out of the window to see what happens.
This is what I think
Are
of
you
friendship,
serious?
dick.
I made your own vodka.
Yeah, dude.
Just my own like shot of vodka with my very
Yeah, like
own
one potato probably doesn't translate into much vodka. Like,
Probably like an eighth of a shot, which is really.
I'm a lightweight. That'll work.
Yeah, honestly, same.
This is not enough.
Wow.
hard
So I'm starting my physical talk by saying that I'm a lightweight.
cider.
Okay.
Y'all want to get shit faced over this? Because it'll take me a minute.
Okay, so now that you all have your food, I guess I'll get started. I didn't really prepare a slideshow because I feel like this should be more of an informal conversation kind of thing rather than a slideshow with a lecture because I think you guys have enough of that already. So what I'm going to talk about is myself, which will be interesting because I didn't start out as a computer science major, but then I like kind of got into the field after my sophomore year and then was able to find an internship and then full time after that. And then after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about just getting involved in the CS community and creating your own sort of space, which is what I did with BizBuzz. So I guess about me is that I started out as a math major because I took math in high school and it was easy and fun. And I was like, oh, this will be really fun in college. And it actually was until I took Math 300. And like looking back, I think it was a cool class to take because it introduced me to a lot of the logic that happens in programming. But just for a lot of reasons, I didn't really like it because I don't think I had the best professor. Sorry, professor, if you're hearing this. And I was also taking a lot of other classes at the same time. So, but I think it was for the best. But then when I decided I wanted to do computer science, it was because I was taking intro to computer science in my freshman year, and I thought it was cool. And then I realized that it was actually a very not just practical but really fun field to get into. So after my sophomore year, I said to myself, let me try it out because actually in my sophomore year, by chance, I got a research opportunity in the ECE department because I was actually in the cave, just like hanging out. I think Mihai was there, some other people who are now alumni were there, and I was talking about how I still wanted to have an internship. And then this one guy was like, oh yeah, I'm going to this research fair in a few hours. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, oh man, I can't come because I have lecture, but can you put my email down for all the research opportunities that want math or CS majors? And he was like, yeah, sure, what's your email? So I messaged him on Facebook. I didn't think anything would happen, but I just wanted to see, kind of like a Hail Mary throw, if you will. So then a few days later, I actually got an email from one of the professors that he wanted to interview me in core, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. So I came in, and I was all dressed up, and he was like pretty casual, like most professors are. And he asked me a bunch of questions about my coursework. He actually asked me about probability theory, which is a course I happened to take kind of randomly that semester because it seemed interesting, but then I'm glad I took it because he seemed to find knowing that useful. Then I didn't hear from him for a whole month, and I was like, oh, he probably rejected me. And then I remember at the end of Hacker U, he emailed me, he's like, oh yeah, would you still be interested in working for me? And I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be cool. So I worked with him for like, I would say 2 months. And we basically with him and his graduate student, I did some work analyzing mobile authentication, false positive rates, and like analyzing the user interfaces that have a higher success rate. So it was kind of a mixture of cybersecurity and human-computer interaction, which was cool. And then it sort of segued me into cybersecurity, which I got a co-op at NBC Universal in my for the spring semester of my junior year. The way I got that was at the career fair, which everyone's all like, oh man, it's the career fair. It's long, it's annoying, which it was, because I remember when that fall when I went to the career fair, I was just so worn out from being in an uncomfortable business suit and talking to like probably 50 or 60 people that day. I was like, wow, I'm so tired from this. But then when I talked to people at NBC, they were actually looking for people who knew about cybersecurity, and I happened to know about it. So then that was really lucky. But then I didn't know it'd be a co-op. I thought it was just going to be an internship, and then just like, oh yeah, so would you be able to start commuting to New York in January? And my mind was just like, wait, what? I didn't know that this was a spring semester thing. I thought this was a summer thing. But then because they seemed interested in me, I was just like, yeah, sure, I could do that. Even though my mind was like, wait, I don't know how this is gonna work. How am I gonna like take classes and do this? But then I just said yes anyway, even though my mind was just thinking a whole bunch of things. But then after a lot of digging, I found out that you could get credit for doing a co-op during the semester. So then I decided to do that. So I got 6 credits for doing that co-op. And then I took 9 credits worth of online classes, which was still really busy, but it was a cool experience. I would do it again if I had the chance. And I always told myself that I would never work during the school year like full time, because that would be crazy, but I did it. I honestly think that a lot of times in college there's a lot of things that you say that you'll never do and you end up doing, which is both professionally, personally, in general. And then now I use that background and to apply for like some cybersecurity jobs, some software development jobs, and now I have a job offer at Lockheed Martin Space. So that's my career trajectory. And I guess I wanted to share it just to show that you don't have to have a really in-depth comp sci background in order to succeed. Because I feel like a lot of times you think that you're doing, like I even thought they did. Because when I started in the comp sci major, I saw peers of mine who like knew a lot of CS, and they were saying that the internship grind was so hard, and I was like, wow, how's it going to be for me? Like, if I didn't know how to write a for loop before I turned 19 years old, like, but yeah, you can do it. I mean, I do think it's harder, but you just have to network, feel creative with how you find stuff, and so that's my career trajectory. But then how FizzBuzz formed is another interesting story. So I knew about FizzBuzz because one of my friends messaged me that they're starting a club and they were looking for a treasurer. And that was actually when I was doing my research over the summer. And I was on campus, so I was like, oh yeah, sure, I might as well help get this off the ground, help get involved. And it was fun. Starting a club at Rutgers is kind of annoying because there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of stuff you have to do to get involved, and then the other thing is that there was another club that had been started prior to this that kind of didn't work out because of poor management, and then it was sort of all over the place. It was called Project Euler. That's something that people like way back in Rutgers history formed, like before 6 even, like all those people, even prehistoric times. But anyway, so we formed FizzBuzz, and then I guess it was interesting to form a club in the comp sci community because there's already so many clubs, and we were wondering, oh, like, how are we gonna find our niche within it? But then I think we did because we realized how we could help benefit other clubs like USACs and even like competitive programming, because with USACs, we can help people who are interested in certain things prepare for their job interviews, and competitive programming, like we could use their problems to help people with interviews. Like we've even had people with competitive programming come in and show people problems that we're using competitive programming and also using interviews. And even bringing in alumni created a strong network within FizzBuzz, and it was just really fun, really unique, and I guess that's a bit of my story and the story of FizzBuzz and how I got involved. So now I'm wondering if you guys have any questions, discussions, sort of stuff. Yeah.
What was your math 300 professor?
I'll say it. His name was Bud Colson.
Oh my god, I can do it too.
Really? When?
It was also my spring semester sophomore year.
Oh, seriously?
That was the same semester I also switched to CS as well.
Wow.
I guess a lot bad job. CS community. Like
So was it for you? Was it a good experience, bad experience?
the switching or the.
No, like having fun. Did you like it as a professor?
I liked him. I think it was because after your class, I think he kind of like changed some things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks for being my sacrificial.
They were the tests guinea pig.
It was his first class, so it's like I'm not really mad at him. I guess I think it was just kind of bad luck, honestly. I think that happened. Mihai?
This is not really a question. I know the answers to these questions, but I'm just trying to like drive the conversation a little bit. What was your most memorable interview experience?
No, both what?
Interview experience. So not like what's your best or what's your worst, but like what's my most memorable interview experience?
Memorable in a
Or better
good way or in a bad way?
Anyway, memorable just like generally.
Let's do bad way and then good way.
Okay.
Both axes.
Maybe I'll do that.
I actually get the answer. Right.
So I had an interview with this one company called Avanade. And I think I'm pretty sure he knows all my interview experiences because I like talk to him about them all the time.
Shocking turn of events.
Don't know each other.
So that interview was memorable because at first it just seemed like a regular interview, right? Like I came in, they asked me some whiteboard questions, I answered them. But then when they're asking me behavioral questions, it was a typical when have you worked in a team, blah, blah, blah. Like I know that kind of stuff because I did a decent amount of interviews before that. But then they asked, what would you do if you got, I think it was $1 million to form your own business? That question was kind of out there because when you're applying to work for a company, you're not exactly thinking that you're going to start a business just yet. So that was just, I don't know, that was a weird one.
Small loan $1 million.
Actually, though, just describe the exact business model of their company and be like, I just think it's the most brilliant idea ever. Oh my god. Wait, oh my god. What a coincidence.
And this isn't a specific interview, but like one thing that happened to me for some companies was that some companies just would keep rescheduling on me all the time. Like they would say, we're gonna do our interview at 4:30, tomorrow at 4. And that kind of I feel like that reflected poorly on the company to me because I think if a company really is professional and wants to hire you, they're not gonna make last minute. I mean, they're not gonna make last minute changes like that. Because when I say last minute, I'm talking like they would say this 15 minutes before the interview was supposed to start.
Oh, so you were already there, like waiting.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was prepared, and then they did that. So yeah.
Were they like shady companies, or are they like companies that we probably would have heard of that were just doing
Both.
that?
Both, yeah. You would I actually think I've had more experiences like that with financial companies than tech companies, actually. Which some of you guys don't look too surprised about that.
So then, what was your most memorable? Looking at the bright side of life.
Even though I got rejected, my Facebook interview was pretty nice. I thought it was nice because they were on time, and then the guy it was just like a technical question kind of thing on the phone. And it was nice because the guy, he didn't just jump in like, oh, code this. He asked me how I was doing, how my day was. Like he was nice. So like I could tell he was just doing that for formalities. Like I could tell he was actually just being nice and not wanting to just jump into the question right away. And even when I was doing the question and I like would make some silly mistakes, like he didn't seem to be like really like mean about it. Like I would say, oh yeah, I was supposed to do this, and he was like, oh okay, that's fine. Like I don't know. I just thought it was a nice interview, and then afterwards we like went through the problem together, and it was just well organized. I know I got rejected, but I still think it went really smoothly compared to the people that would reschedule on me so often.
Which was more fun, the research or the co-op?
They were fun in different ways. I think the research was fun because it was my first time working in the industry. I mean, when I say in the industry, like in my major, like not just doing any random job to make money. So it was kind of cool to do something technical, like under management of someone. Like I never did that before. I was actually really nervous for my first day. And then I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to like know code all these different things and do all that. But then when I came in, he's like, oh yeah, like just read these research papers to like get a sense of what we're working on. I'm like, oh wow, that's chill. I think a lot of times when I've talked with people or people have asked me for advice, they're all like, oh wow, I'm so nervous about going into work the first day. But I always say like, don't be nervous because a lot of times the first few days are just trials and tutorials to get you prepared for it. That's how it was for me at NBC also, like because there's so many exact like protocols that we had to follow. And I basically am like a lot of times like we had to like read like documentations and things like that. And I think that applies to any company you're gonna work for.
Yeah, I have like 2 questions. The first is like, what's your 6 credits at NBC for like, because it was like 2 semesters long. And the second would be like, I heard that the payment for like your internship program is like really tedious and horrible, and you have to pay for it. So like, how's your experience with that?
What do you mean, like the payment for my like the pay wasn't good? You heard
Like,
for NBC?
I heard you can get credits for like doing an internship, but you have to pay them a lot of money, and your manager has to like fill out paperwork for you, which is like kind of lame.
That's that. So there was a lot of paperwork, but that's because basically when you get credit for doing a co-op or internship, it's almost as like you actually have to register for a class called like internship and co-op. And if you're doing a 3-month internship, you get 3 credits, and then if you're doing a 6-month co-op, which I was doing, you get 6 credits. And I think it was 6 credits just because of like how long of a time it was for. Because when I did it, it was from January all the way through July. So I guess and if you're measuring in semesters, I think that's probably around like 1.5 semesters, like if you include the summer.
Did you have to pay for it though? You had to be enrolled as a student, right?
Yeah, well, I was enrolled full time because I was also enrolled full time so I could keep my housing because I was at Easton Ave Apartments. And then, because actually, yeah, when I was like looking into the whole thing, I saw that if you're a part-time student, then like you can't be in university housing anymore, which would have I mean, I actually where I lived before it was pretty close to New York, but then it just would have been a lot because I was like dorming and then I would have had to go home and be part-time and then like I might not have been able to graduate on time or I would have had to like really cram classes in to be able to. So
do you have to pay for the credits or?
No, I didn't. So I was basically just like the regular amount of tuition.
Okay.
And then I got paid for my internship.
Good.
Yeah.
So it was 6 credits. Did it count as 2 CS electives, or did it count?
It didn't count for the CS department, which I was disappointed about, honestly, like because then I wouldn't have had to take nearly as classes as I had to take in my senior year. But I don't know. I'm so glad I took the classes I did because I got to learn more. I mean, even now there's like still some classes I wish I got to take, like AI and compilers. It's really interesting as well, but I can't. Oh, I mean, I can take them if I stay on an extra semester, but I don't think I want to. But I wish it counted for a CS class though. Yeah, I got paid. I think they actually have a rule with the federal labor bureau. With Rutgers, I think it's like if you're doing a co-op that you actually have to get paid for it. Like they won't, because Rutgers like won't sign off on it if you don't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that's good. I think for an internship, I think it said for an internship if it's not 40 hours a week that you're allowed to not get paid. But like yeah, like, they're strict about that. Like I want to make sure you're getting paid for all the work that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is the internship and co-op, is that part of SAS? Or?
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's part of University Career Services. And then when you actually you have to fill out an application. Your manager has to fill out an application. And then once you fill out the application for it, you get like an SPN number to register. It's because it's like you have to register for class. It's pretty interesting. And then you have all these assignments that are due. Like one of them is that my boss had to write a midterm review about me. And then so that's really an assignment for him. But then I think it's like I think it's their way of checking to make sure that I'm doing my job and that like what they said on the form when I applied is actually legit and I'm not just like making it up to get credit.
Your boss like pissed off?
He actually said like he's done it before. But
like a break from the normal work. We're like, oh fuck yeah, I guess
I mean, that's
kill an hour.
It'd be like kind of
Yeah.
annoying though. It's like out of nowhere. It's like, by the way, I need you to write me an essay about like what I've been doing.
You like ask them politely, I guess.
You're like,
Hey, would you mind like doing this?
like,
But they can't say no. They have to.
Well,
say
something I did is when I started, I told them about the whole process. I was like, here are all the things that you're gonna have to do, just so you know.
So he wrote it when you told him about it. So like, that's it. He definitely gave it to like a secretary. Like,
Probably just has one that uses for everyone. He just changes the name.
if that was me, I would have just told you. What do you want me to say? Like you write it, I'll sign off on it.
No, you know what the strat is? You give it to the back to the person, say, you have to evaluate yourself. It's like for your own personal growth.
Exactly.
Big
That's
brain.
what my professors did one time.
Big
He's
brain.
like, you need a letter of recommendation? How about you write it and then I just approve it and sign
Wait, did
it?
that actually happen?
Yeah, the professor who I talked to into giving me the data structures.
Part of it's like, you assess your own personal growth for your own personal reasons. It's not my problem, so to speak. But it's also like they're just lazy as fuck. They don't want to do it.
Did you have like,
That's something that's a
did
little
you
bit
have like a
harsh.
progress report meeting like people who actually are like full-time employees have at NBC? Like they pull you into the office like, well, here's what you did in these 3 months.
I mean,
Here's
that's
how
what that's why I think that's why they made us do a midterm review. Because I think it's almost like that.
It's supposed to be like a without
It's like
any-
a check-in thing, and then I mean, I got like really good reviews overall because the way it was structured, it was almost like they had to score me on different things. Like, am I punctual? Do I dress like appropriately for the job? Like, am I technically competent? Am I like have I like gained expertise in the skills that they want me to? All that kind of stuff. And then they ask me, then they ask open-ended questions like, what are some things that they've learned? What are some things that they need to work on more? And things like that. Like I like the number thing because it quantified where I was at. And I felt like that was more of a concrete way for me to know how I was doing than like the open-ended responses.
Was it graded on like pass fail or was it like A B C?
So
Wait, was it the same? Like, did you have to write anything?
oh no, it was not Sakai.
You're on canvas.
The class was run on Sakai actually.
It was?
Yeah, it's a Sakai class. Like literally, like the way that you're registered for systems in Sakai or like Combark, it's like basically like that.
That means someone made it. Like that means that like there had to be someone on staff who's like, I'm going to make a Sakai page for everyone who's getting credit for an internship or a co-op.
Yeah,
They were probably an entry.
yeah. It was a pretty interesting experience. I mean, I actually when I was doing that co-op, I thought about taking systems that semester.
Jeez.
I thought about it because I remember one of my friends wanted to partner with me. That was one reason. And the other reason is I took Combark the semester beforehand. So I was like, should I take systems? Then I was thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna be working 40 hours a week in New York. Then once I'm done commuting from New York, I'm gonna have to go straight to Bush for systems. Like that was, and then I have to like work with on the project while I'm in the city. Like I was like, I don't think that'll work out too well. I think I'm glad I decided that.
Did you ever take systems?
No, I never did.
It would have been really funny if you took it this semester. Because I would have been here today, or it might have been here today. That would have been like really funny. Maybe it's not funny. Maybe it's funny to me, not to you guys. But it's fine. It's pretty funny to me.
No, it's fine.
It's like
Yeah.
It's like one of those jokes that are funny in your head, you know?
Yeah, it sounded a lot better in my head than when it
No,
actually
it's
came out.
legitimately clever.
Yeah, it was clever. That's okay.
I mean,
What a good
I
joke.
knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. That's what I was about to say. I mean, only shows in section
I'm trying-
one.
Oh, and it goes in section
I
one.
thought it was
Yeah.
a clever connection to make in retrospect.
I didn't take it this semester because I don't really know anyone. Well, I didn't really know anyone when I was registering. I didn't really know of anyone who was taking systems. So I was like, I feel like a class like systems, I don't want to risk not knowing who I can partner with. So that's why I haven't taken it. But yeah, I still think I'm glad I decided not to take it when I was doing my co-op because my routine was basically like I lived at East Napa Apartments. I don't know if you guys know where that is. I lived at East Napa Apartments, and I remember I would take the 7:23 a.m. train. I would get to my office at like 8:50. Then I would like work until 5, and I'd get back to New Brunswick at like 6:30 or 7 roughly. And then I would go to the gym after, like right after, and I'd eat. Then I'd go to Fizzbuzz on Wednesdays.
Did you have a cubicle?
No, actually the office was basically It was almost like the cave, actually. Not,
That is cool,
not like
honestly.
this, but like I guess in terms of structure, it's like
Lars' banana.
it,
Oh, funny story.
Well, who threw them out?
That was actually mine.
Oh, we were
Dude, I fucking forgot about it.
because if those were Lars. He doesn't come in on Thursday or Friday, so those would have been left here until Monday.
Yeah,
And I was really looking forward to that.
I forgot about them, so I didn't throw them out. But after I peeled your orange, I was like, "Fuck!" I left my other peels.
actually, I think I could try. I think I might try to find.
I was wondering why, you were like crawling through this.
Yeah.
Once stop with mine. We're doing the game. It's
Oh,
peel guy. Could you imagine?
Have eaten oranges and bananas because you can't eat pizza.
Literally the most dubious reputation ever. Fucking hell.
Peel guys from Systems.
So yeah, what was the grade for the co-op? Like just pass fail.
It was pass fail. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was basically like pass. So another thing we had to do a timesheet like to show how many hours we worked. And we had to have our we had so many documents we had to like sign. It was kind of annoying, but it was worth it for the credit because I feel like if I didn't get credit for that, I would have been like.
It's also pretty cool. You basically like worked the job. Like you now had like experience with an actual job.
Yeah, like it was honestly just such a worthwhile experience because I was a junior, which I guess is like kind of late. It was like late to the game already, and then I had a 6-month co-op, which is basically like the same amount of time as having 2 internships. So then I was pretty on par. And then once I had that job, and when I applied for full-time jobs, I got a lot more interviews than I thought I would. Actually, I think in general, when you just like get any job, like after one job, you get so many more interviews because like getting your foot in the door is the hardest thing.
When it rains, it pours. You can get one and like bam, they're all
What did you do at your co-op? Like, what specifically?
What I do? It was a lot of things. So like are you guys familiar with a tool called Splunk?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
So basically, what it is it's like a querying tool for looking up different security things like firewalls and network traffic. So sometimes we would look at specific like firewall paths and IP addresses in Splunk. Like sometimes there were dashboards like with information that someone else already did, but then sometimes like for like big events like the Olympics or Super Bowl, sometimes we would have to like write our own dashboards. That's basically like a whole panel of like data, like like live data coming in to like show the different firewall paths and like the networks layer IT, and then other times too, like, we would be analyzing like authentication like on different computers because like some computers like had to be really protected for certain events or like based on the location that they were in. And we would also analyze emails that people would receive in the company, which seems kind of like a menial task, but it's important because some emails have really bad viruses for computers. And like some of these viruses called worms can actually like go across like multiple devices that are on the same server. And then when that happened, then we would have to blacklist it, like follow a certain thing to blacklist it, or we'd have to like analyze the code that was in it, which was in assembly sometimes. Which was that was crazy. Like sometimes we would use this Apache tool to open up viruses so that wouldn't impact like the main machine that I was on, and then like we would see like the actual like processes that the virus was running, which was actually really cool. But
So are you doing security at Lockheed or no?
yeah, so I mean, I guess like I don't know exactly what I'm doing because I'm not doing it yet, but it looks like I'm gonna be working on their space security systems.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually. That's cooler than MongoDB.
Oh. I feel personally attacked by this relevant content. Hi, Kevin. Are you here for the talk?
What?
Oh, no, he's on the MongoDB.
That's the gym. There's an easier connection to make than like systems TA joke.
Yeah, I inferred that one. Saw that.
Ronnie gave me the eyes, and then I was dead in the water.
Skills of inference for any work.
You need some apparel saying that you're a systems TA.
Could you imagine?
What?
Give me a jacket.
ITA
Give me a
section
gold
one.
jacket. Like all the patches for the course.
One thing that was really crazy from that job though is I started in January and the Winter Olympics were in Korea.
Oh shit.
And like I remember it was around mid-February and I had only been on the job for a few weeks and I was still just getting the hang of what we did on the job. But then on top of that, and I had to figure out all this stuff for the Olympics, like how to manage the security for that. And that was just really crazy, honestly. It was a crazy time. I was like, oh, this is insane. Like I was like reading like all these different things, but then it made me learn really fast. Like actually, my boss told me that I learned this stuff really fast, and I told him that like honestly, I think it was because of the Olympics because I had no choice but to learn things really fast. And it was also crazy because like two guys that I worked with, like they weren't interns, like they were like full on, I say full on grown-ups, like college, like people who like had graduated college, like been in industry. And they got fired during the Olympics because they like messed up. And I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my god, these people got fired. And then I'm like really new to this stuff, so I hope I do okay. But
You made it.
yeah, it was fun. It was a pretty wild ride. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Does anyone have any?
What company was it?
Oh, you got your way. So I did a co-op at NBC for 6 months in their cybersecurity department. Basically this time last year. So I did it from January 2018 to July 2018.
Wait, that means like during the school year, like during the week?
Yeah.
How did that work?
So I got pizza sauce in my glass. So the way that worked was that. So I think I told this story, but basically what happened was I met with them as a career fair and like I talked to them and went really well, and then I had a few interviews and they gave me an offer. And then when they gave me the offer, they're just like, oh yeah, so you're able to get to New York from your college, right? Because this is gonna start in January. I was like, in January. I didn't say this in my mind. I'm like, in January, working during the school year, like I don't know, like. But then I said yes anyway because like it was just such a good opportunity. But then when I did some digging, like I was like, how am I going to go to school full time and do this? Because otherwise I would like lost my dorming because you can't dorm if you're a part time student.
Oh.
So, but then what I found out is that you could get credit, or you could apply to get credit for like a co-op or internship that you're doing. And in my case, I was able to get 6 credits because it was like 6 months and not 3 months. So I was able to get 6 credits, and then I took 9 credits of online classes like for my core requirement. I don't want to do a CS class while I was like taking on that kind of workload. So I did 3 online classes for my core requirement, which even though they were core classes, they got a little bit annoying because I saw the papers, I saw the exams.
But how many times a week was it?
My job. Oh, so it was 40 hours a week. So I came in Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But then it was really my day started at like 7 in the morning because I took the train at 7:23 a.m. and then I was back in New Brunswick at like 6:30. I guess you could say I was in hustle mood. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions about anything?
How long do you think you're gonna stay at Lockheed?
How long do I think?
Yeah. Like best case scenario, like.
I mean, honestly, it's hard to say because I don't really know I don't even know what project I'm gonna be on yet, and I don't know. I just don't know what's gonna be. I feel like there's a lot of unknowns, but I mean, hopefully I stay on for like a few years or something. Like that'd be cool. I mean, I have heard it's good to like move to different companies after a few years just to like have more knowledge of different industries. But I feel like that's something I'll have to see when I work.
Even though you have the job lined up with Lockheed, you're still looking at like just other job postings, just like applying just to see what happens.
I mean, honestly, I've been like really busy, just like working on stuff for graduation, figuring out like my plans for where I'm living, things like that. But sometimes sometimes I'll see like stuff that looks interesting on LinkedIn, and like also there's some places that I interviewed with that I would be interested in working for again. Like I have their contact, like their recruiters' contact information, and like I have the contacts of like a lot of other people who work at companies I'd be interested in. So I feel like once I'm like comfortable at Lockheed, like once I decide what I like, then yeah. I'm excited to be at Lockheed though. I think it'll be a really interesting experience. I'm curious what kind of language they're going to have you put in.
So like if you said you're doing security at Lockheed, like do you ever see yourself going to management or like more technical stuff? Like
I can kind of honestly I don't know if this is accurate enough. I kind of feel like I have the personality to like do project management. I feel like it'd be fun. Also, someone at NBC told me I had the personality for it, so like maybe that's why I think that. I mean, I also was the president of FISBA, so it's like I've like managed before. I feel like I have the interpersonal skills for it, which I think is important. I mean, I don't like know a lot about project management, but I feel like it's important to have for that. So I think that would actually be a cool thing to try. Like, I would be interested in that. I might like try to see how to get into it from like that type of position, but
Talked to Professor Francisco about that.
really?
Yeah, like out of nowhere, I was meeting with him and he gave me like an hour-long talk on how to go from employee to management. Just
Really?
unprovoked.
I'll have to ask him about that. How does he know about that though? Because
I honestly don't know. He's telling me, he's like, you can be the manager of a programming team at Google, and then like NASA could just hire you to lead a rocket team. I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, because once you're the manager of one thing,
Oh, you did a side-to-side thing as well.
once you're the manager of one thing, it's no longer about having the knowledge on that field. It's more about just like delegating work to people. Like I said, if you're actually interested in this, you have to find a way to talk into a conversation with him because he'll go like on about like an hour about this.
Or maybe I'll tell him that you mentioned it.
Not Ronnie specifically.
Say
A
me
fellow peer.
Say
No,
me hi.
okay.
Don't say me hi.
I've
Don't throw me under the bus. Because then you're gonna interrogate me during a staff meeting. What the fuck did you tell Tina about me? You know.
Also, don't mention me because I haven't told him yet I'm not doing the independent study
Oh.
You
I've been like
one time you were here until like 11:30 at night waiting for him to come in. to talk.
11:30. He's fucking had me here until 1 a.m. one day, talking to me about fucking metal blocks and radio waves, dude. I was like, what the hell?
That's fine. That's just research, I thought.
No, yeah, it's really
It's
really interesting from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. in between those hours.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Do you do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, since you were like so important for FizzBuzz and like forming it and continuing it, where do you want to see it go?
I mean, when FizzBuzz first started, like we didn't do like alumni events at first. Like that was actually my idea because actually I think I came up with it because I was talking with some friends of mine that were alumni and like they're all just like, oh yeah, like we'd love to come in and talk to them. And I don't know if you know this guy named Doug Rudolph. So he's an alumni and like he's worked at BuzzFeed and like he's interested in game design. Like he was actually our first speaker for FizzBuzz. And I remember that event had like half the attendance of this event has, maybe even less. I think actually less than half. Like our events like in the beginning were like tiny. Like I don't know if like any of you guys, yes, some of you guys have been here from the old days. But yeah, like so we started doing that, and then just this year, actually was it this year? Yeah, I think this year we started having companies come in. Like I think the first company event we had was with AT&T, actually, because of the there was this guy that I knew who was an alumni, and then he actually had wanted to come into HackerU to talk about this like project idea that he was working on. But then since I was on the HackerU team as well, I saw the email and I was like, oh, come to FizzBuzz to talk about it. Because I think he was also interested in recruiting too. So then I was like, this would be a perfect club for that. I mean, I'm really glad that I had a big network of alumni and students that I knew to give talks because I feel like that helped people come in and gain more awareness of it. And future president right here. Like I know he wants to have FizzBuzz work together more with other clubs like USAC, even REBAD, because they're a mobile app development group, and there's some jobs that like hire just for like iOS developers and things like that. So then like if they have a presence, that'd be cool. So I think that's a goal that we have. My goal was to just have us have like a strong alumni and company engagement, which I think we achieved that pretty well, especially since for being a pretty new club. And then also hackathon appearances too. Like we had an appearance at Hackers and HackerU, and like those are pretty popular. So hopefully we'll have hackathon events. And even though I'm graduating, like I still want to be involved in the decision making for the club. So whenever something happens, it'll be something that I probably like had some role in.
Where did the name FizzBuzz come from?
That you know whose idea that the name was? Lars Sorensen.
What a legend, man.
Yeah, Lars helped us plan FISBA. Like I remember we'd be at this exact table and we'd be like planning out how it was gonna go, and then Lars was there. And then at first our club was just called RUCS Interview Prep Club, and then we're all thinking like there has to be a better name. Like that's just not catchy at all. Like because what would be abbreviated like RUCSIP? Like even that's not catchy. Like it sounds weird. It sounds like some EDM band that out. But then I think Lars was sitting here and he was like, well, there's this one famous I think he just said FizzBuzz out of nowhere. We're just like, what's FizzBuzz? And he was like, oh, it's this really famous interview problem that companies would give to see if people could code. And then he shows the problem and we're just like, this is easy. But it's actually not because do you guys like know the FizzBuzz problem? So basically it's like in a set of numbers from 0 to 100. You have to print out the word fizz if that number is divisible by 3, print out buzz if it's divisible by 5, and then print out fizz buzz if it's divisible by 3 and 5. But then the mistake that a lot of people make with the logic is like if you don't order the if statements the right way, like if something's divisible by 3 and 5, that means it's also divisible by 3 and 5. So then if you put the if statement saying like, oh, if it's divisible by 3 before like the if statement for like 3 and 5, then it's gonna print out like fizz and then fizz buzz, but it's only supposed to like print out one thing. It's like a logic ordering thing. But yeah, I guess it goes to show like sometimes with interview questions, sometimes the easiest questions can still trip people up just because of small little intricacies that happen, which I'm sure a lot of the people who've given talks have like explained about.
If you could do something like differently for your FizzBuzz experience, like if you could time travel to like past team and be like, I have one thing to tell you, like.
I probably.
Yo, fun fact, I saw him today. Today in class.
You saw another student that went to class.
Whoa.
Any guy do
He graduated.
Yeah.
Haven?
Yeah.
No,
Not
not
Haven.
No, Mo Hayden.
Oh, Mo is her states.
Not even talk about the people that are actually around here, dude. Come on. Like,
Oh, if I could do something differently with FizzBuzz.
Go back in time, tell Tina, visit Notre Dame while you still can.
Yeah, they will rebuild.
I
But
don't know, yeah.
And we also did a Tumblr field trip. That was a lot of fun.
a
too.
tum.
Like the company Tumblr.
That's still getting checks back. I got 2 of them.
Wait, what happened with the checks?
People just don't respond to like getting their money back. So
I probably would have worked more with other clubs because I think in the beginning we were sort of like doing our own thing and we didn't really like work with USACs a lot or like any of the other clubs. Like I think the first event we had with USACs was like in the second semester where we started FizzBuzz and like that was like really well attended. And I was thinking to myself like, wow, when we have events that are collaborative with other clubs, it makes like other people know about FizzBuzz and then just gets the word out more. So I probably would have tried to like do more events with other clubs in the very beginning to like make membership engagement like increase faster. I mean, it did increase, but like a little bit more like slowly over time. Just like I didn't know to do that.
You mentioned getting your internship at the career fair. Like, how important do you feel the career fair here? Like, if you're looking for an internship, how important?
I think I know I'm gonna sound like every like SAS person, advisor person that talks about the career fair, like, oh, you must go to the career fair and print out your resume and have this specific format. Like, no, like I actually think it's useful. Not just because there's people from a bunch of companies there. It's so much better than applying on, because you can always say like, oh yeah, I'll just look at the list of companies that's going to the career fair and I'll just apply online. But like applying online is probably the worst way to apply to a job, because when you apply online, it's almost like if you want to mail a package and then you just have a bird bring it over to someone and hope that it gets there. But then going to the career fair, it's more exact because it's like you're forming a relationship with people. There. So it's like even if that person says like, oh yeah, just apply online, or they just give you their business cards, like you talk with someone from that company, and that carries a whole lot more weight than just submitting your resume through like online. from just filling out the form online. 'Cause it's like, well, what do I know? Like, what do I know about you besides your name and your resume? Like, even if your resume is unique, like they won't know your like own unique qualities without talking to you first. So,
would you
that's
say-
really important.
Sorry. So would you say like if like go and like meet people, but in the end, if you still have to apply online, that's still better than nothing.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, if they see your resume come through online, they could be like, oh yeah, I talked with that guy at the career fair. And then the other time too is like, even if they tell you to apply online, they still take your resume too. So it's like they'll still remember you. I think. I mean, I've don't get me wrong. Like, I've had companies from career fairs go to me too. It's like I'm not gonna like pretend that it's perfect, but I definitely like I wish I like had data on this. But, like I would definitely say that the companies I applied to like through the career fair, I got more interviews from those than like companies I just applied to online without having talked to anyone. And yeah, I like honestly in general, all the companies that either I talked to someone at the career fair or like I knew someone like an alumni who works there, I definitely like had way more successful of a time applying and like getting an interview from those. There have been some that I like cold applied to online, like I applied to Jane Street online and I got an interview from them. And like I didn't know anyone who worked there. Which I honestly think is kind of a lot. Like some of these companies I feel like they almost like pick a color out of a hat. They're like, oh, I picked purple. I'm interviewing them. Like, they're so hard to get interviews at.
Career fair got me the sick cup. So.
I
Oh,
got
really?
an IKEA bag.
Really?
Yeah.
Like one of the IKEA like bags that they have at IKEA.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's awesome! What?
Best experience.
Go for it.
Oh, wait. And this thing on the back.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
that's nice and all, but the IKEA bag, that's where it's at.
I got an internship from the career fair. She was.
You did?
Yeah, that's where I got Max stuff.
Oh yeah, oh that's right. He did an internship at Max 7. Remember when you applied to Max 7?
Sure do.
Max, that was those bitter sure.
Yeah, because I fucking go and do the coding challenge, no reply. Fuck you. Bigger, better things.
I'm still
Mongo
waiting
up.
for my reply from Zillow 2 weeks later. We're waiting on that.
I mean, honestly, to be fair, if there was a lot of like bureaucratic oversight, like it's easy to let like a couple of emails like slip or let like a couple of candidates slip because if you have just like so many, but like Max Center is like a small company in fucking like Skillman, New Jersey. Like how the fuck? I don't know. Surely you can't fuck up your inbox that badly if you're just like a small company, like one floor, like one room in like a corporate building.
Two floors.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never got to actually tour the on-site office, so there you go.
You never made it that far.
Yeah, I wasn't cool enough to make it that far, so there you go.
Probably like a secret third floor. It's really.
I was like, right, that's where the like shadow suite is.
Yeah.
This is it's the secret
That is
microwave that came
fun.
out.
I honestly should come in for a Fizbuzz talk again next week. That would be really fun.
We'll think about it.
We'll see.
We'll get your application.
Yeah.
Girl.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. So like actually I went another thing I'm thinking of doing is like since Fizbuzz is more popular is like maybe having people like apply to speak for Fizbuzz because I've actually had so many people tell me they want to speak for Fizbuzz and like I was able to fit all of them in. Because we are an interview prep club and it's like we can't just do speakers and it's like we can't not I feel like we can't not do speakers.
Or we can meet twice a week.
I actually thought about that. But then it was kind of complicated with like getting the room and like all that stuff. Yeah.
Just do come by and circle outside.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
we
do
can
like a
go
hostile
to
takeover of this half of the cave whenever we need it.
Or you could just, if it's the weather's nice, go on the lawn outside.
Actually, though,
That would
just
be
roll one of the
cute.
whiteboards out there. It's like, what coding problems ail you?
Well, yeah, we could do it all.
Yeah.
I personally like the speakers a lot because like if I really want to do a coding problem, like I can just like I have the internet or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But
like
like
sometimes it's nice to just work on it. Just like even if you figured it out on your own, it's just fun to just like present the problem to friends and stuff.
I mean, also that's how you do it in whiteboard interviews because like it's not like in whiteboard interviews you can just be like you have to like be like oh so these are the variables I'm gonna use these are my test cases like you have to actually know how to explain what you're doing
yeah.
instead of just being like robotically like oh here's my code. Yeah.
This is kind of a ridiculous question, but is there, at a career fair, you know how they won't let you bring in bags?
They only, oh really? That must be a new thing. Because I'm pretty sure I brought it in my first one.
And maybe it's like kind of a thing that they say. And it's like, well, if you bring one in, we're not going to stop you. It's just, we just don't want you to.
They have a bag check, but it's not like they forced you to.
Or maybe like a size limit.
I know there's a big controversy with the business school career fair because it was like if you didn't wear a black suit, you like weren't let in.
Yeah, well, the business school is a bunch of butts anyways. It's all right.
It's a bunch of butts.
They won't give us access to their roof.
Isn't it business school?
Does anyone give us
Wait, yeah,
anyone give us access to their room?
So apparently it's really easy to get on the bus center roof to the point that the door's not actually locked.
Wow, that's
I
a
love buildings, but
Yeah, like American Bush, like if you want to get on the roof of the building, you can probably do it.
Yeah, I get it.
Even Livingston's not a problem.
Yeah, I feel like literally always say weird real estate.
Yeah. No, I remember they threw their plane off of the roof.
Yeah.
But I forgot which one.
Wait, is this like a group bubble tea?
The bubbles.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
that
I
was
don't-
Dunkin' Donuts.
Sour grapes time, guys.
The bubbles are weird as fuck.
What flavor?
Really?
is it?
You
No,
never
they're
had
like
bubble tea
old.
before?
No, I haven't.
They're
not
old?
They're like
They're like
are you
crunchy.
meditated, bro?
no. They're like,
Hey, this one looks like it's like disintegrated.
yeah,
in
that's
straw.
what it feels like.
Oh, dude, I'm not drinking. That looks terrible. You guys have fun.
Cheetos love this bubbles.
Prove that argument that we're spoke. Bubble tea is disgusting.
They got
Fucked up
they got
a drink
Carrico
with
and
4
Szechuan
ingredients.
Ichiban bubble tea. Were they even trying?
That's the greatest word.
At that point,
I
they
have
may as
the
well
audacity
get
to have a
Guerlain's
Wait,
pizza.
where did that bubble
Next
tea
door.
come
They got it
At
from
about the same
Are
time.
You Mad? Got a bunch of Szechuan Ichiban bubble tea.
Dude, they're-
Which like yeah, it's free bubble tea, but at the same time then it's Szechuan Ichiban bubble tea. So it's like give and take.
Really right now.
Does anyone have any other
Relax.
questions?
You're
I know this fellow
Wait,
asked a lot
back
of
there?
questions.
Oh, come on, I drove discussion.
I don't think
I want to like for next semester, but it's like I feel like I may it's like a maybe in the next few years. Maybe. I'm kind of leaning towards not doing it, but then it's like I'm saying maybe because then it's like if there's like a really interesting specialty that I find, then like it might be cool to like explore that more. Especially because I Rocky actually said that there's some schools that they'll actually pay for to go to grad school. So like that's something really cool. Then I might try it out.
You like me, just go right after. Just go right into it. Just get more debt. That's what you want.
Do you want to stay in cybersecurity or do other stuff?
Honestly, like, I don't know how much you guys know about cybersecurity, but cybersecurity actually has a lot of fields like within it. Believe it or not, like, because there's infrastructure stuff, then there's like
SaaS.
then there's stuff with like maintaining the servers. There's stuff with like just engineering and Splunk, which you have to like actually get like certification for. There's like malware analysis, like probably a bunch of stuff I don't even know about. So it is and there's even like forensic analysis. Like there's like some tools that can analyze hardware on like tech and like on technologies and tamper with phones and things like that. And then they can like pull like different deleted things like yeah. So there's a really that at first I thought like cybersecurity is just like its own field. That's it. But no, like there's so many things within cybersecurity. It's crazy.
That's sick.
So I think it's something I want to stay in. And I don't know if I don't know if cybersecurity is like something that gives a lot of knowledge in other fields. Maybe like operating systems and distributed systems, maybe.
Yeah, operating systems.
Because actually, I remember I think I was like telling Mihai about this. I was learning about like file indexing actually at work one time because this one guy at work was explaining about how when you delete a file, like even though it's removed, it's like index is still there. And I was like, yeah, about that. He's like, oh, that's something I learned about in OS. I was like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like I learned on the
The
job.
reason why OS is important to cybersecurity is basically every single security flaw that computers have comes from the operating system, not from the hardware. So everything goes back to the operating system eventually. That's true.
Kind of confirmed.
So you're definitely ready for operating systems on.
I already took OS. This is my
You
second
did?
day. Yeah, I took it at community college. They wouldn't give me credit for it, so I'm taking
Oh,
it.
what? Oh, I guess I'll be easy for you then.
Oh no, I mean I got a 30 on the final at CCM, but I mean like I passed. I got an edge, but
Wow.
Rest in peace.
Pepperonis.
So now that like officially last FISBO's meeting of the semester is over, you are now
They're
president.
not,
Not going on the paper.
Oh, word. You should have just said yeah, president. So I would have been like, oh,
Games this week, dude.
not my president. Like,
President.
Mayor, where's your tax returns?
Oh god.